All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to yoga. I'm so happy to see you all here. And we're going to start seated. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. I like to sit on my bolster, but if you want to sit on a block or a pillow, even a folded blanket, just to get a little lift in the hips can kind of take some of that pressure off the low back when you first start to sit. So finding your comfortable seat and taking a moment here maybe to shift the weight a little. So maybe side to side, forward and back. Kind of just noticing, where do you normally carry the weight when you're sitting? Do you normally, I have a tendency to tip forward in my seat, so it's important for me to sit back on my sit bones. But do you normally lean more to one side or the other? See if you can sit up nice and tall, stacking through the spine. So the head is directly over the heart, directly over the hips. And then allow the eyes to soften or close. Hands can just rest comfortably in the lap. If it feels comfortable, you can turn the palms up or you can turn them down, whatever's more comfortable for you. And beginning to tune into the rhythm of your breath. And just taking a moment to notice, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling emotionally, mentally, physically? Just noticing whatever you find, not trying to change anything, not needing to control it. Just acknowledging whatever comes up for you here. And then taking a moment to recognize that you don't need to be thinking about anything else right now. There's no way to completely shut off your thoughts, and we would never try to do that anyway. But as you begin to deepen the breath, smoothing it out, drawing it all the way down into the belly, see if you can just set aside anything that you don't need right in this moment. Just give yourself the gift of this time, this space fully on your mat. So arriving here in presence, beginning to deepen the breath, feeling your sit bones on the floor or whatever you're sitting on, feeling the legs, the knees grow a little bit heavier, feeling the top of the head grow a little bit taller. And seeing if you can soften the shoulders, soften the muscles of the face. And let's all take a deep, full breath in through the nose. And open the mouth, sigh it out, let something go. 2 more times. Deep, full breath in. And sigh it out. And 1 more time. Give yourself the gift of this breath. Take a deep, deep, full breath in. And let it all go. And beginning to find some movement through the fingers, through the toes. Maybe rotating the wrists. We're going to ease into our practice slowly, warm everything up. Go ahead and open the eyes if they're still closed. And let's start to take some figure eights with the right wrist. So starting low here, and then gradually starting to move up. We're going to be working on upper body strength today, and it's really important to warm the wrists up for that, because we'll be on our hands a bit. So when you reach all the way up to the top, maybe roll the wrists a couple of times in the opposite direction. And on your next inhale, sit up nice and tall. Reach through the side body And then let's find a side bend over to the left. And notice if that right hip wants to lift. See if you can drop it down. Feel that long line of extension from the right fingertips all the way to the hip. Take one more breath. And then slowly come all the way back up. And let's start to take those figure eights on the left side. So moving nice and slow, fluidly with that hand as if you were moving through water. Really feeling the wrist articulate here, starting to move upward. And when you get all the way up as far as you'd like to go, maybe rolling the wrist a couple of times, just circling it in both directions. And then on your inhale, sit up nice and tall, reach through the left fingertips. And exhale, find your side bend over to the right. Left hip is nice and heavy. Breathing into the left side of the rib cage. Take one more breath. And then slowly come all the way back up. And let's inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, find a gentle fold. Letting the head become a little heavy. Maybe swaying a little here, rocking back and forth on your hands. Maybe shaking the head a little, yes and no. And if it feels okay, walk your hands over to the right. Left hip is still nice and heavy. Soften the neck. And then walk the hands back through center over to the left. See if you can soften the forehead and jaw, breathing into the right side body now. And then walk the hands back to center. Slowly walk yourself back up. All right. And let's take some loose fists with both hands. And we're going to start to circle and go as slowly as you possibly can, really articulating through all parts of the wrist. Moving nice and slow. I know everybody wants to go faster. Do it one more time in this direction and then we'll circle the other way. Reversing the direction of your circle now, still moving nice and slow, really feeling all the little muscles and bones that are connected to the wrist. And one more time in this direction. And then shake the wrists, shake the hands out, I'm sorry. And let's take some jellyfish hands. So really articulating through the fingers here, drawing up the energy at the top from the wrist. So feeling that movement coming from the wrist as you come up. And then let's take the right hand. We're going to take our left thumb into the palm of the hand, and then we're going to press that the right wrist forward. So fingers are pointing down. You can have a bend in the elbow. You're gently pressing that wrist forward. Give it one more breath here. And then release the left hand. Go ahead and flip the right hand over. And we're going to take the fingers into the palm this time. And then we're going to pull back gently as we press that wrist forward again. So I flipped my hand now. Fingers are still pointing down, but my palm is facing out. Give it one more breath here. And then slowly release. Give that hand a little shake. And let's do the other side. So thumb goes into the palm. Fingers point down. My palm is pointing towards me as I gently press my wrist forward. Breathing here, staying with your breath. And then let's flip it. So flip the palm face up, fingers come into the palm now. Gently draw back as you press that wrist forward. And you can keep a little bend in the elbow, you don't have to straighten it. So my palm is facing out, my left fingers are pointing straight down. And give it one more breath here. And then gently release. Give both hands a little shake again, and we're gonna come into table. So take your time. If you need to pad the knees or the wrists, please do. All right. So setting up in our table, maybe taking the hands a little bit in front of the shoulders today so that you're not putting such pressure on the wrists. And then press the toes down, the tops of the toes into the mat. Press all 10 knuckles, all 10 fingerprints down. And on your next inhale, drop the belly. Heart opens for your cow. Exhale, rounding through the spine, tailbone tucks, belly button draws in, chin to chest. Inhale, belly drops. Heart opens, head and tailbone lift. And exhale, rounding through the spine, pressing up into your cat. See if you can keep the hands and feet really solidly planted. Moving with your own breath now. Let's do a few more rounds of cat-cow, warming up the spine. Establishing a rhythm with the breath here. Let the breath guide the movement. And then starting to find any other organic movement that feels good. Maybe sending the hips side to side, looking over the shoulders. Maybe circling the hips. Maybe taking any other version of cat-cow that feels good for 2 more breaths. And then pressing back up to table. We're going to go ahead and thread the needle. So left hand stays planted. On your inhale, right fingertips are going to reach. See if you can make this movement only in the upper back. And exhale, thread the needle. Right arm under the left. Release onto the right side of the head. You can always use a block under the head if the floor feels far away. Left hand can extend towards the top of your mat. It can come to the low back or straight up towards the ceiling. And if you want a more active version, you can extend that left leg as well. Breathing wherever you are. And give it one more deep, full breath. And then slowly draw the hand back down, release the knee if it was lifted. Use your left hand to slowly unwind. And we'll take the other side. So right hand stays planted this time. Inhale, left fingertips reach. Exhale, thread the needle. Releasing onto the left side of the head now. Right arm can stay where it is or it can extend. And you can also extend that right leg, pressing into the toes on your mat. Breathing wherever you are. And give it one more deep breath into the right side body. And then slowly draw that right hand back. Release the right knee if it was lifted. Press yourself back up to table. All right, so we're going to do a version of balancing table. So this is some core work here. So normally when we do this and we extend one leg at a time, we leave our hands down, and you're welcome to still do that. So we're going to extend the right leg, and then just give yourself a glance back at your foot. Notice if all the toes are pointing straight down. Engage through the hands here. So you're kind of rounding, bowing the upper back, lifting from the inner thigh here. You want the hips to be pretty even. Stay here. Make sure your right hand is in a good position for you to be stable here. Or you can reach the left hand forward. Strong core here, pulling the belly button in. Give it one more breath. And then, if you'd like, on your next exhale, squeeze the elbow and the knee towards each other, round the back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. One more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. And gently release. Go ahead and find child's pose or puppy posture. So we're just going to build slowly here. Hips can be lifted or sitting back towards your heels. Maybe rocking the forehead a few times. Gently side to side. Take one more breath. And then slowly press back up to table. Knees come underneath the hips again. And we're going to get stable on the left side this time. Left hand plants in a stable position. You may need to adjust, that's fine. And you're either just going to extend the left leg and hold here. Maybe look over your shoulder, check that all the toes are pointed straight down. And then notice if you're kind of dipping the belly down. Press through the hands, hug the core in, lift from your inner thigh, stay here or extend the right hand out. So this is really challenging. If you need to release the hand, please do. Inhale. Exhale, nice and slow. Squeeze the knee and the elbow towards each other. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. One more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Go ahead and release the hand and the knee. Let's take both knees together, big toes to touch. Just drop the hips to the right, look over the left shoulder. And come back to center. Take the hips left, look over the right shoulder. And come back to center. Go ahead and curl the toes under. We're going to lift the hips up and back. Find your downward dog. And I'm going to encourage you to explore your down dog today. So take your dog for a little walk. Downward dog is one of the best exercises for building upper body strength in yoga. It's a challenging one though. So pressing into the index finger and thumb, the knuckles on those fingers, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. So imagine you're turning, rotating the upper arm bones outward. Maybe shaking your head a little, yes and no. You can play with how close your feet are to your hands. You can also play with how wide your feet are. The wider the feet are, the easier it is to get the hips up and back. And then come to stillness here and either hold here, or if you'd like, inhale, extend that right leg long behind you, three-legged dog. Belly button hugs in. And then bend the knee, open the hip, but see if you can still keep the shoulders level. This is optional. We're building some strength. Maybe take some ankle circles here with that right foot, or maybe take some knee circles with the whole leg. If you need to come down, if you need to lower the foot, please feel free to do so. And then circle the opposite way with the ankle or the hip. And then inhale, three-legged dog one more time. Exhale, release the right foot to the mat. Release the knees. Find your child's pose or puppy posture. Maybe bend the elbows here and take some wrist circles. And then press back up to table. Slowly coming back to your table. We're going to curl the toes under, lift the hips back up to downward dog. Maybe shake the head a little, yes and no here. Make sure you're not holding tension in the neck. Roll the shoulders down and away. Press into the index finger and thumb. And then on your inhale, we're going to extend the left leg. Three-legged dog. Your toes should still be pointing straight down. Maybe hold here. Maybe bend that left knee and open the hip. Maybe take some ankle circles. Make sure you go both ways. Or maybe circle the whole leg, circling that knee and hip. And then reversing the direction. And inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, release that left foot down. Bend the knees, look up at your hands. Walk or step up to meet the hands. So we're going to bend the knees really generously here, super generously. And if you'd like, you can press the tops of the hands down into the mat. So that's another stretch for your wrists. Anytime you're in forward fold, you can do this. And then maybe find a little sway here, clasping opposite elbows. Shake the head a little, yes and no. And then release the hands. Bend the knees generously as you slowly roll up. And then when you get to the top, shake out anything you need. Grab a drink of water if you need to. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little warm already, which is a good thing. That's what we're trying for here. All right. So we're going to come into our mountain. And then press the feet down. Either press them away from you or lift the toes. Feel that activation in the legs. Find that tiny micro bend. Feel the tailbone tuck down. And on your inhale, let's reach the arms up. Press the palms together and take them down to the heart. This time, inhale, press the hands up, palms still together. Exhale, open the arms wide and down. 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Make sure you have a little bend in the knees. Inhale, hands press up. Exhale, open wide. Last time. Inhale. And exhale, hands down to the heart. Inhale, palms up. Exhale, open them wide. All right. This time we're going to inhale, press the palms together, and then take that right hand back behind you, left hand forward. So we're going to do a standing twist. Feeling a little lift in the head and the chest, but see if you can soften the shoulders while still keeping the arms where they are. And then inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, opposite way. I'm going to turn to the side. So feel as if you're reaching through the fingertips, really feeling energized in the arms, but see if you can soften the shoulders. Take one more breath. And then inhale, back up to center, palms pressed together. Exhale, take them all the way down the center line as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift, belly button draws to the spine to support your back. Exhale, soften and fold. Let's bend the knees, plant the hands, step to downward dog. And then go ahead and lower your knees. So we're going to build a little bit of a vinyasa here. So from your table, take your knees together and then shift your hips forward and down. So you're finding a little tuck of the tailbone. Your belly's not drooping here. And then really press through the hands, feel that rounding in the upper back. So you're really creating lots of space between the shoulder blades. Normally we squeeze them together in yoga. Here you want to push them apart. So building a little strength here. This is modified plank. Give it one more breath. Gaze is straight down at your mat. And then as slowly as you can, bend the elbows, hug them into the side body, and lower yourself down with control. Hands stay where they are under the shoulders. Press the hip bones down, press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, baby cobra. Elbows draw back. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, rolling up into your cobra. Exhale, soften and release. Last time. Inhale, rolling up. And exhale, let it go. Let's press through the hands. Come back up to table. Curl the toes under. Lift the hips up to downward dog. Look up at your hands. Either step or walk up to meet them. Inhale, halfway lift. Belly button draws in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, take that slow roll up again. And arrive in your mountain pose. All right, so that was a slowed down modified sun salutation, Sun A. There are several versions. So we're gonna do that one again. We're gonna move a little more fluidly this time, a little faster. So always still go at your own pace. I'm just there to guide you. So we're gonna add some arms to our sun salutations. If you preferred taking the hands to the heart and bringing them down the center line and then rolling up slowly, you can do that again. This is just an option. So inhale, reach through the arms. Exhale, arms out to the side. Send the tailbone back as you dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step to downward dog. Lower the knees, shift the hips forward, find your modified plank. Elbows should be right over the wrists. One breath here. And then hug the elbows into the side body as you lower with control. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, soften and release. Press back up to table. Curl the toes under. Find your downward dog. Take one breath here in down dog. Maybe sigh that breath out if you need to. Then look up at your hands. Step or walk to meet them. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive or roll up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do all of that one more time, and then we'll move on. Take water, take a break anytime you need it. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hinge the hips, dive forward. Inhale to flat back halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step to your down dog. Take one breath here. And then lower the knees. Send the hips forward into your modified plank. Make sure that your shoulders are not in front of your wrists. Make any adjustments. One breath here, belly button in, tuck the tailbone. Exhale, elbows hug into the side body as you lower. Inhale, press the hips down, lift the chest and the head, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, press back up to table. Curl the toes under, lift the hips. Find your downward dog. One breath. Then look up at your hands. Walk or step up to meet them. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, reverse your swan dive or roll up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Allow the eyes to close here. Feel your stable mountain. Lifting the chest to the thumbs, dropping the tailbone, bending the knees slightly. See if you can reestablish the rhythm of your breath. Give it one more breath here. And then slowly open the eyes. Release the hands. We're going to do a balance before we come down. So let's go ahead and shift the weight onto our left side. I like to spread my toes because it makes me feel like I have a more stable platform. I have very long toes. So we're going to shift the weight over to the left and maybe take the hands to the hips. They can also be by the sides. And we're just going to lift that right heel. So I'm pressing into the toes and the ball of the foot still on the right, but my knee is bent and my heel is lifted. So notice if your weight is starting to collapse into that left hip. See if you can bring it back, really pressing down through the left foot, hugging in the core. And then maybe staying here, maybe starting to lift the toe and then put it down on that right foot, little taps. Or maybe lifting the toes and hovering an inch or so off the mat. Toes are pointed down if this is what you're doing. You can also come to a wall. The nice thing about being in your own house is if you really want to practice the movements, but your balance is feeling really shaky today, just put your hand on a wall. So staying here Or you can bend the knee, lift a little higher, flex the foot. You can also catch the knee in that right hand. So breathing wherever you are, really pressing down through the left foot, feeling nice and tall in the spine, hugging in the core. Balancing poses are actually really great for the core because it requires a lot of core strength to be able to balance on one leg. So take your time. Give it one more breath. If you fall out, don't worry about it. And then slowly release. Shake that left leg out. Take some hip rolls or some ankle circles. We'll take the other side. So spread the toes on the right foot. Start to shift your weight over. Be wary of that hip poking out. And then just coming up onto the toes and the ball of the left foot. Dropping the tailbone down. So think tree pose on that left side. Really engaging the right leg, And if you'd like, you can start little toe taps. Or you can bring the toes to hover. Or you can bring the knee up higher, flexing the foot. And you can even catch the knee. You can also hold underneath the knee. That's sometimes a little easier. So hugging in the core. Staying with your breath. Take one more deep, deep breath here. And then slowly release out of it. Give that right leg a shake. Rotate the hip. And then let's go ahead and inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step to downward dog. Take one breath here. This is our last down dog of the practice. And then release the knees. Find child's pose or puppy posture. If your shoulders got a little tense from all of our sun salutations, you can walk the elbows a little bit forward and maybe take that namaste over the top of the head with the palms together. Getting that shoulder stretch. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then release the hands. Press yourself back. So from our table, we're going to extend that right foot out to the right, and we're going to bend the knee. So if you need to pad the left knee, please do. We're going to walk the hands back and come up. So right away, let's rest the right forearm on the thigh. Press a little bit into that right foot. And inhale, send the left fingertips up and over. Press that left hip a little bit forward. One more breath. And slowly release. Let's go ahead and straighten that right leg. Toes can point the same direction as the leg, or they can turn forward. I prefer them turning forward. It's a little more stable, but it's up to you. Go ahead and drop that left hand to the mat. And then you can take the right hand to the hip and just open from here. Press the hips forward. This is a modified side plank. Or you can send that right arm up towards the ceiling. Really engaging the core, pressing the hips forward. Try not to collapse all your weight into that left shoulder. Press away. Take one more breath. And then slowly release the right hand down. Walk the hands back to center. Go ahead and release that right knee. Take the knees together, toes together. Drop the hips to the right, look over the left shoulder. And come back to center. Drop the hips left, look over the right shoulder. And come back to center. We'll take the other side. So left foot comes out to the side with the knee bent. The heel is in line with that right knee. Go ahead and pad if you need, and then walk the hands up. So for now, the left knee is bent. Let's take the forearm to the thigh right away. Press that right hip forward and inhale. Send the right arm up and over. Feel that long line of opening from the knee all the way to the fingertips. One more breath. And then come back out. Let's go ahead and straighten that left leg now. Toes can point whichever direction you feel most stable. And then drop the right hand down to the mat. And press the hips forward, maybe just opening the heart with the hand on the hip, or maybe extending that arm up. Breathing wherever you are. You don't have to be looking up. You can look straight ahead or even down, depending on how your neck is feeling today. Take one more breath, press the hips forward, and then slowly release. Rebend that left knee, walk the hands back to center. And let's take the knees and toes together. Send the hips left, look over the right shoulder. Come back to center, send the hips right, look over the left shoulder. And back to center. Let's come to a seat. We're gonna do one more core exercise. You guys are hanging in there, you're doing a great job. Let's take the feet out in front of us with the knees bent. I'll actually turn sideways. So we're gonna move into boat pose. Couple of options here. Take the hands behind the thighs or behind the knees. You can walk the feet a little closer to you and then just lift the heels. So you're hugging the thighs together, lifting the chest up. So core is engaged. Maybe this is your boat pose today. You're still practicing strength here. Still engaging the core. If you'd like, you can start to tip back a little bit and lift the feet. Feet are still essentially pointing down if you're here. Chest is still lifting. Or if you'd like, you can lean back a little bit more, take the shins parallel to the floor, and still lift the heart, lift the chin. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release. Cross one ankle over the other. Give your knees a big hug, round the back, round the chin to the chest. Take one more breath here. And then gently release. We're going to do one more boat pose. So moving into whichever boat version you liked best. It can just be heels lifting. It can be feet lifting, or it can be shins parallel. Really engaging the core. If you're feeling any pain in the low back, lower the feet. Breathing wherever you are, lift the heart, draw the shoulders back. One more breath. Then slowly release, cross the opposite ankle. Give your knees a big hug, round through the head and neck. Breathing into the upper back. One more breath. And then slowly release. Let's come down onto our backs. So gently rolling down, making sure you have any props you might need for Shavasana. And when you arrive, go ahead and draw the knees into your chest. Maybe rock a little side to side. Maybe take your knees in a nice slow circle. First one way, and then the other. Kind of rolling out the sacrum. You can also row the knees apart from each other and then together again. And make sure you reverse that direction as well. And then open the arms out to the sides. They can come into cactus arms with the elbows bent, or the arm can extend long. If the arm's extending long, make sure that it's right at shoulder height. And then go ahead and drop both knees over to the right. Finding your gentle supine twist. Knees can release to the floor or a block if the floor is feeling far away today. Breathing into the left side body. Maybe turning the chin to look to the left. Notice if you're clenching in the shoulders, in the knees, and the hips. See if you can soften, releasing to gravity. Making each exhale a little bit longer than the inhale now. And give it one more breath here. And then bring the head back to center if it was turned. Engage the core, slowly draw the knees back up to center. And we're going to drop them over to the left. So take your time. Right arm can extend out to the right if that feels comfortable. Or you can take that cactus arm. Your chin can turn to the right. Breathing into the right side of the rib cage. See if you can soften the shoulders, the knees a little bit more. And give it one more deep, deep, full breath here. And then turn the chin back to center. Slowly draw the knees back to center as well. And then separate the knees, pull them up towards your shoulders. So widen them. And then point the bottoms of the feet up towards the ceiling with the knees still bent. So we're coming into happy baby. You can just grab hold behind the knees here if you'd like and press the tailbone down towards the floor. Or you can reach for the legs, the ankles, the feet. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. Pressing the tailbone down towards your mat, letting the knees relax out to the sides and down. You can rock a little here side to side if you'd like. You can also play with bending one knee more and straightening the other, and vice versa. Or you can bend both knees and take the feet close to each other, almost like a butterfly or a cobbler pose, but up in the air. Breathing wherever you are, take one more breath. Press the tailbone down. And then slowly release the feet, release the legs. Take your feet down to your mat. Take your feet as wide as your yoga mat and do some windshield wipers with the knees. And the next time that the knees are over to the right, let's leave them there. And if you'd like, you can hook that right ankle over the back of the left thigh. Both feet are flexed if you're hooking the ankle. And you can gently pull that left knee down towards the mat. Breathing here. And then release the ankle if it was crossed. Windshield wiper your knees over to the left. Keep them there, or you can cross that left ankle over the right thigh, gently drawing it down. Breathing into the front of the right hip. And slowly releasing if you had the ankle crossed. Beginning to set up for your Shavasana. Taking any final stretches or poses that you might need. Maybe taking a full body stretch. Maybe just drawing the knees to the chest. Maybe taking windshield wipers one more time. Beginning to set up for your comfortable final resting pose. You can take a bolster under the knees or behind the back. You can take a block under the sacrum. Make this pose your own. And when you arrive, allow the eyes to soften or close. And let's all take a deep, deep, full belly breath in. And a long letting go, sigh out. Deep, deep, full breath in. And sigh it out. And one more time, deepest breath you've taken all morning, all week, all year. And let everything go. Allow your breath to begin to return to its natural rhythm. Feeling the support of your back body on the mat, cradled by the floor, by the earth, by whatever props are holding you up. Allowing the body to grow heavier, to release to gravity. Smoothing out the forehead, allowing any tension to melt from the temples, from the space between the eyebrows. Feeling each cheek soften, each side of your jaw. Releasing any tension in the tongue. Softening the back of the neck, both sides of the neck, and releasing the throat. Feeling the chest, the heart open as the shoulders melt down towards the mat. Arms are growing softer, heavier, relaxing each fingertip. Releasing the front and back of each hand. And feeling the upper back soften, the mid back, the low back. And feeling the belly loose and open. Hip bones are nice and heavy. And tailbone is anchoring you down. Softening the front and back of the right thigh, the front and back of the right knee, and softening the right shin and the calf muscle. Right ankle is nice and heavy. Relaxing the top of the foot. And softening the bottom of the right foot and all 5 toes. Softening the whole right leg. Releasing the front and back of the left thigh, the front and back of the left knee, and softening the left shin and calf muscle. The left ankle grows heavy, releasing the top and the sole of the left foot, and softening all 5 toes. Releasing the whole left leg. Releasing the whole body to gravity. Letting go of anything you've been holding on to from today, from this past week, from the past month, from the past year. Letting go of anything that's no longer serving you. And allowing yourself to just rest. And beginning to deepen the breath. Feeling the rise and fall of the belly. Welcoming in a new breath, new energy into the body. And beginning to feel the breath spreading through the body. Finding any movements in the fingers and toes that feel good. Maybe rotating the wrists or the ankles. Maybe gently turning the head from side to side. Maybe a full body stretch is calling you, or maybe it would feel nice to bring the knees into the chest. And then when you're ready, making your way onto one side before pressing back up to a comfortable seat. Allowing the eyes to soften or close once you arrive. And sitting up nice and tall. And taking the hands together at the heart if it's comfortable. Taking a moment to acknowledge your journey this year. how challenging it's been, acknowledging your successes where you found them, acknowledging that you're not alone, that we're all here together. I thank you so much for allowing me to continue to guide you. I wish you a lovely day on and off the mat. Namaste.